Hello everyone, and welcome to the second part of the orientation to the introductory statistics class. Again, I'm Dr. Heather Adams, and in this set we're going to go through looking at some of the ways you want to orient the class to get the most out of it. So when we're looking at this particular course and keys for successful experience, there's four main things you want to be keeping in mind. First of all, academic community. This is going to be really important in terms of being able to have some people in the course that you can meet with, work on problems together, or otherwise get feedback from. Next, we have looking at the detailed comprehension of course policies. Then we have preparation, interaction with the narrated PowerPoints, and then preparing for your exam. And last of all, scheduling for due dates with all cutoff times. So let's take a look at each of these a little bit more closely. So people who work together in this course display the highest level of comprehension. Now, I am not going to force you to work with individuals. However, I strongly suggest that you reach out to some people via the email online with the course or otherwise to develop some groups of individuals that you can get together either online with virtually or meeting in person on campus to be able to work through problems and notes together. People who are collaboratively learning have the best outcome. Secondly, we need to have a detailed comprehension of course policies. So you need to take the time to go through the pages I have of the course syllabus regarding policies of plagiarism and academic dishonesty. For example, you need to note that you are not allowed to have any collaboration whatsoever on warm-ups, exam readiness assessments, or exams. And you need to check carefully about what the parameters are for doing assistance and collaboration on the homeworks. Experiential learning is the next one. Keep in mind this class is set up for you to learn through doing statistics. Statistics you learn by doing. So we're going to repeatedly work through problems. Statistics is not a course where you can read the material, understand some theories, and just apply them. You're going to have to work through them again and again. So be sure, when we'll look a moment in going through the course, so you're working through all the sample problems as we go along. Assistance. Please reach out to me as soon as possible when you're experiencing difficulties. One of the primary mistakes students make is they wait too long to reach out to me until they are deeply and truly overwhelmed. When you have failed 2 exams, it is going to be very hard for us to get you back on track on the course. It doesn't mean we won't be able to make some progress, but we will definitely be pushing uphill much harder and we will gain much less. Although the exams are not cumulative in terms of adding them up, they do build on each other. So by the time you failed exam 2, you are at a severe disadvantage going into exam 3 and 4. Don't wait for that to happen. We're looking at the setups for the course. As soon as you're doing exam readiness problems and you don't do well on them and you're not hitting the timeline that you need to hit, you need to contact me right away. Also keep in mind when you're doing the homework problems, you have online assistance available. So make sure you take advantage of that. We discussed that in the other slide in terms of being able to get assistance in walking you through the problem online, showing you a sample problem, or emailing the problem to me, specifying where you're stuck and where you need assistance with. Keep in mind you need to pay attention to due dates and late policies. I do have late policies for excused absences, and you need to look at the syllabus for what that accounts for. Keep in mind your warm-up exercises and your homeworks can be turned in late at a 50% penalty. However, your exam readiness assessments cannot be turned in late. They are due at the time due. And keep in mind that the due dates for all of these things posted on your syllabus includes the due time of 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when they're due. Inclusion. Obviously, anybody taking this course that has some level of disability or other factors that are inhibiting your ability to maximize yourself in this course, I need you to contact me as soon as possible and let me know. I will obviously have all conversations in confidence, and I will do my very best to get you the resources you need and see what accommodations we can make. However, do keep in mind, the sooner you contact me, the better. It is very difficult for me to make accommodations retrospectively. It's better for me to know ahead of time. So if you're anticipating problems or issues, say you have an upcoming surgery or any other thing like that, it's best to contact me ahead of time and let me know, just to give me a heads up in case it does become a problem. Now in this class, we have a grading for effort. So this is covered in your class policies, but there's opportunities for you to earn points added onto your overall exam scores or points added onto your overall course grade. So you need to read through the grading for effort section and make sure you're aware of it so you can take advantage of it. And lastly, we have extra credit. So there's an extra credit option for this course. However, you must sign up for the designated time slots, and there are penalties if you withdraw. So please take a few moments and look through that section of the policies as well. Now, all of these are going to be referenced in an orientation course quiz. It's going to be due by 3 p.m. on this Thursday, 8/31/17. That is going to be the enrollment verification for this course. As many of you know who have been at St. Francis for a while, I must file enrollment verifications by 5 p.m. on 8/31/17. So, because we don't have an on-site where I can check you for coming to class, we're going to use the completion of this course quiz as the assessment of your enrollment verification. That quiz is still in development, but there will be a link under announcements, and I will send that out as soon as it is up. I'm anticipating it being up tomorrow morning. All right, now coming to class prepared. First of all, one thing you want to check out is the Learning Myths quiz I have posted in this same folder. A lot of students have myths about how you learn and what you can and can't learn that really inhibit their ability to actually maximize their learning potential. So I suggest you take that quiz and then reflect on and follow up on some of the myths that you accepted and see where maybe you can change what you're doing to improve your learning and comprehension, not just in this class, but in courses overall. Okay, you need to be completing each warm-up quiz before starting the associated PowerPoints and the homeworks. Okay, and you need to be doing active reading and integrating your lecture notes with the text notes. So for information on this, look in the folder Materials to Improve Course Comprehension, or you can contact me for tutoring. Again, if you're struggling with the course material, it's not coming together with you the way you'd hoped, this will be one of the first things we'll do is we'll get together or we'll put together an academic intervention to help you start applying this more active reading and integrating lecture notes. Keep in mind also when we're looking at the PowerPoints, you need to be actively engaged with these narrated PowerPoints. These PowerPoints, as I said above, are set up so that we are stopping at each space for you to pause, do the work, and then check it for the next step. This is exactly what we do in class, and this is going to maximize your comprehension because the goal here again is to identify where you are struggling and making mistakes and be able to fix them. It does not do any good to think that you're doing perfectly fine and then get on the exam and find out you in fact do not understand the material as well as you thought you did. If that has happened, part of the problem is going to be that you are not working through the PowerPoint problems step by step. So do not watch these passively. Do work through them following the directions I provide within them. Okay, preparing for exams. In many cases, you're going to make a decision flow chart. Where we see that on several of the schedules, you're going to want to make sure you're taking the time to do that and get feedback from me on those flow charts to help you be able to decide where you're going. Right? So probability theory, when we're looking at that, there's one of the big things you have to do is decide which type of probability formula you should apply. We're going to be looking at 6 of them. If you get the wrong one, it's not going to matter whether you do the math correctly or not. You'll have picked the wrong probability formula and you'll have the wrong answer. So you don't want to be making that mistake. We also want to be producing step-by-step guides for completing problems. You're going to see this as we start working with more complex problems, as we start moving into t-tests and correlations and other stuff like that. You're going to want to have a step-by-step guide for completing the problems. This is a lot of material in this course. We go through it very quickly. The goal is not for you to have it all memorized, but for you to be able to come out with a set of notes that's comprehensive and that you can come back to and reference later. Okay? And you need to be completing the associated exam readiness assessments by the due dates. Keep in mind, these are the assessments that are not allowed to be completed late. You miss one and you have a 0 for it. You cannot make it up later. That is because these serve the critical process of letting you know and letting me know whether you're on track for the exam or not. So if you look on the schedule, you'll see you have anywhere from 2 to 3 exam readiness assessments before each exam. This helps us identify early on whether you're on track or whether we need to meet and start looking at what we can do to get you back on track. Okay, you need to have an in-pocket schedule of due dates with all the cutoff times. So you need to be including these into your whatever, your iPhone, your Androids, your computer calendar, whatever you need to do to be able to plug them in there. So we have between the warm-ups, the homeworks, the exam readiness assessments, and the exams, we've got a lot of different due dates going on in this course. That allows us to keep working with the material consistently, which is going to improve your comprehension and actually have you better prepare moving into the exams. But it is possible, if you're not loading them into your phone or other technology, to get very far behind and become overwhelmed and start missing stuff. So remember, even if you're making up the warm-ups or the homeworks after the due date, you're still losing 50% of the points. So there's just really no point to do that. If you're going to do them, you need to schedule the time and do them on time and get the maximum of points. It's absolutely ridiculous to do the same amount of work and lose 50% of the points simply because you procrastinated. So don't do that. You need to also look on schedule time allotment for each piece, look at homework questions and other stuff like that to be able to assess the time commitment that you're going to need to put into them. All right, and looking ahead, Thursday we've got section 1.1 and 1.3. So you need to go through and look at your schedule, for example, and get started looking at what is due on Thursday. At what time is that going to be due? And when is the associated homework due? So these are the kinds of questions you need to be asking yourself and setting up to keep yourself on track in this course. Online classes work very well for students who keep a detailed schedule, who make a detailed schedule for themselves across the semester of all assignments and due dates and information and maintain that schedule. If you do not, online courses are very difficult for you. You're not going to be getting reminders from me. You're not going to be getting emails from me. Keep in mind, all of these assignments are set up through the Pearson software, which means you will not be getting alerts via Blackboard. They're not loaded up on Blackboard. They're loaded up on Pearson. So you need to be responsible for all of this material yourself. Okay? All right, well, welcome to the course. Hopefully this kind of gives you an orientation of what you need to be doing to succeed in the class. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always here. I would always rather hear from you than not hear from you about a problem. Okay, so good luck, and hopefully we will have a very successful semester, and I look forward to working with y'all as we go along.